The following program does not have a normal intro because I was really too busy smoothing other things over to get it done. So, Ori? Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Viewers Discretion. I am your host, Joe Neerman, a.k.a. Good Lawgic. You know him as the rabbi. You know him as my dad. You know him as Great Lawgic. And you also know him as 2023's most popular visitor to the show. That's my dad. How are you, Papa?
Thank God, fine.
So I promised them all it's movie night tonight. That's what I build this at. Movie night with Great Lawgic. So that's what I plan on jumping in. But if there's something you want to get, something on your mind that you want to just.
Well, I just wanted to say that the Palestinians, you're going to see, believe that Israel is theirs. The whole place is theirs. And we're going to see that. And you'll see that. And whatever you ask, that's what they'll tell you. Not all of them, but a significant minority. Now, this film is a fascinating film. These are women who are in prison in Israel because they have either assisted or suicide bombers who killed people, or assisted suicide bombers who tried to kill people and didn't.
I mean, they tried to commit suicide, but obviously failed.
And they assisted them. They did. And in case of one or two, they wanted to blow themselves up, and they couldn't. And one of them discusses that, how she tried to blow herself up with a female policeman next to her near the border. You'll see.
So here we go.
Chilling.
What I found interesting about this is, there's a bunch of different videos that my father shared with me as potential interesting videos to share. And what I liked about this video that we're about to watch, which is called Brides of Allah, is that you get an opportunity to see the people who are engaging in violence and actually just decide for yourself. I mean, it doesn't come across to me as if it's like pro X or anti-X. It's more a matter of like, this is just laying out what the mindset of these individuals are, and you can come to whatever conclusions you want on that. But like, that's essential. That's what I like about it, is that it's more like, look, this is the situation. And then once you know the situation, you can reach your own conclusions as to like the morality of either side, I guess. So with that in mind, that's why I like this video. I think that it has a certain neutrality to that, which I think is a healthy thing, as far as just when people are trying to learn about a situation, it gives you a better understanding as to where people are coming from. I know you don't hear anything yet. Don't worry, that's not you. It's just still no volume. Still nothing. Still nothing. So we got, since the year 2000, there have been 155 suicide bombings. 526 people have been killed, 3,300 injured. This is before October 7th, right? This was made. Actually, maybe no. Maybe this goes back a month ago. All right. So maybe this is after October 7th. 120 Palestinian women have been imprisoned for assisting or attempting to carry out suicide bombings. Natalie, a Jewish Israeli director, entered Sharon prison to meet these women. Joe, why must fish be scary? I don't know. What is your advice to great OG Logic? What is advice for people who have a drinking problem? Do you have any advice for people with a drinking problem, Dad?
Stop.
I don't think that's going to help.
AA.
All right, there you go.
AA.
Still no volume. I know. Don't worry. It's coming.
Here we are now, there.
Allahu Akbar,
the normal caller, and the record is not available, so she's doing that.
Oh, they normally use a record.
They pray. Okay.
أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله.
I testify that God is God. Allah's God.
أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله.
Muhammad is the primary messenger of Allah. Shahida means witness suicide.
You mean suicide?
Well, it could be. Yeah.
We're supposed to avoid using that word on YouTube wherever possible, but it's probably going to be unavoidable tonight. The term that is preferred is self-deletion in place of that word, just because YouTube seems to have very strong issues with hearing that word, because they think that anyone who uses the word is advocating for it, despite the nonsense of that perspective. So
You'll notice they get mail. I mean, the prison treats them very well. Consider them.
لطيفة في غيرها كمان لطيفة أدهم ابنك هاي لأماني هاي لمين لفاطمة هاي آية هاي رجاء مين هاي قاهرة هاي قاهرة الساعة ليش تعرفش
They get pictures of the family. The family does come visit. You'll see that too.
oh no, wait, oh, I thought people were saying, okay, no, I thought people were saying that this thing blacked out because I was sharing this. All right.
لأربع أطفال اعتقلت في 7/5/2002 تهم المنسوب إلى توصيل استشهادي ومساعدة مجاهد.
Wait, she was arrested
تهم المنسوب إلى توصيل
back in 2000.
Driving a suicide bomber who actually killed people. If the bomber didn't kill people, the sentence would be much lighter. She's in, I think it's a life sentence.
A life sentence because she drove someone to
Someone to kill two people, so they gave her a double a life sentence.
Interesting.
Now, I'm telling you that she might get out because they would try to negotiate. Hamas now, they have the captive, so I'll let her out, you know.
Right.
ومساعدة مجاهدين.
Three life sentence, sorry.
Three, right. So this guy destroyed himself. This guy destroyed himself and 3 Israelis and injured 80. So she was sentenced to 3 life. So they give a life term for everyone who
was killed.
Who's killed. Okay.
Interesting. Kahira, by the way, means conqueror.
Kahira, the name, means conqueror.
Yeah, Kahira is also conquest. Mm-hmm. That's a coincidence.
هاي دنيا أصغر بنت عندي لما أنا اعتقلت كان عمرها 3 سنين. هلا الحمد لله رب العالمين كبرت وصارت صبية عمرها 7 سنين. عندي ساندي.
So that was back in this must have been in 2006 because she's saying her 3-year-old kid. She's probably not there any longer. But she's saying.
Well, I don't know if she's live prison. She's there.
Yeah, but she said her 3-year-old is now 7.
Right, so that's 4 years ago. Yeah.
But this doesn't look like it was filmed 15 years ago, so I'm not sure.
It was not. It wasn't. I don't know. It's 9 years old when I was.
Maybe it took a long time for her conviction to come in. I don't know.
I don't know.
Oh, she was 9 when she was arrested. Oh wait.
عندي محمد ابني ورأفت. طبعا مش بس أنا الوحيدة الأم اللي بعيدة عن أولادها. ممكن أنا من الأمهات الفلسطينيات اللي في السجن. في كتير أمهات فلسطينيات قتلوا واستشهدوا. يعني في أطفال كتير في فلسطين أمهم ماتت. قتلوها إسرائيل يعني طخوها.
خير ما الذي مش خشبين من زي شاب بكيلة.
هم مش زعلانين مني لأنهم عارفين أنا شو عملت. بالعكس دائما بيقولوا لي في الزيارة لما يزوروني إنه أنت بطلة أنت قوية ماما.
So it's interesting that they let her kids come visit. instead of keeping
I'm
her.
telling you, that considering the situation, it's very humane.
إن شاء الله ربنا يعني
Wait, you see a woman is pregnant. What happens?
إنك ترجعي لنا وتكوني معنا يعني ويبعد اليهود عنا. يعني بنتي الصغيرة بس دائما كلمتها لإلي إن شاء الله الله باخذ اليهود وبترجعي عنا يا ماما.
יאללה בנות שהתחילו לצאת. יש פה בנות לצאת? אין? לא לצאת.
Oh, he's checking the integrity of the cell to make sure in case they were digging, I guess.
أحلام.
Greg asks, has Great Lawgic heard the refugee camps bombed by Israel yet? Nuzerat, Magazi, and Burej refugee camps. Many women and children died, including the wife and children of journalists.
Yes, and the reason that they were done is because Hamas was there, and Hamas uses the kids and the women as human shields. And Hamas believes when they do this, that if they die, those kids and women, two things happen. One, they believe they go straight to paradise. And two, they believe it helps the cause because it's great propaganda for them that the Israelis have killed them. The Israelis try not to kill them, but it's a problem. Otherwise, they're going to let Hamas off.
اسأليها وين الجريدة؟ مش عارف وينها. مش مشكلة، المقالة مش عارفين وينها. صار وين ودوها للصبايا؟ هيها شايفة هيها.
Breck Nichols over in Rumble says, any day with Great Lawgic is another day in paradise. Love from Dallas, Texas. Thank you so much, Breck. You're really too good.
Thank you.
هي مقالة جريت معاريف أنا كاتبين عني مقالة.
It's not a matter of being okay to kill kids. It's a matter of if someone basically holds up, if someone is threatening, I'm going to harm others, and if you try to do anything to me, I'm going to hold up my own kid as a shield. What are you supposed to do? You know, it's like it's not like a question of like, wow, this is an option that everyone loves. It's a matter of like, what are you supposed to do? Say, oh, okay, so I guess we're helpless by that logic. And I think that from a fundamentalist perspective, if the kid gets shot, that kid goes to heaven, and it's like, you know, it's great
good
PR,
propaganda.
and it's phenomenal PR, right? It's phenomenal PR. This is why I was saying that from the mindset of a fundamentalist, a mindset of someone who's, you know, willing to go to terroristic levels, all blood is good. All blood is good. If it's Israeli blood, great, and if it's Arab blood, okay, that's great PR. All blood is good. And from an Israeli perspective, all blood is bad. It's like any whether it's Israeli blood, obviously they're trying to protect their own, and if it's Arab blood, they know that they're going to get tremendous flack for it. So that's the nature of the situation. We have one side basically trying whatever they can do to stop there from being bloodshed, and the other trying to inflict as much bloodshed as possible.
صورتي ومبشرينها هيك اللي زعلني انه هم كاتبين ارهابي او مخرب، لكن انا مش ارهابيه.
אבל מה זה אומר? מהנדסת מטעני חבלה.
اقول لك واعيد لك، هذا رد وحق طبيعي مني انا.
الجهاد right.
حق طبيعي للرجال وفرض عين عليهم.
Basically make weapons of destruction.
A right to practice to kill people in order to free us.
مسلحين لانه لا نملك الدبابات ولا نملك المدافع ولا نملك الرشاشات. كل ما نملكه هو الجسد هذا.
Some more prepared explosive devices to be used in suicide bombings and began training other Hamas militants. She was 3 months pregnant when arrested. She was sentenced to 2 years and 4 months.
ايش بدك تمشي تشتغلي تحركي حالك، اذا ضليتك خايفه خدي مني،
عشان اقول بدي اوزع بنزل واقعد بالبيت.
اذا ضليتي خايفه الا يضل مرتع الولد.
That's what they do when they're celebrating.
Right.
ultrasound هي عينيه تمه بطنه.
Oh no, YouTube took it down.
What?
Uh,
What do they take down?
YouTube stopped my stream.
Why? This was on YouTube.
No, they probably took it down because they think that I'm improperly stealing content. So
What does that mean? You're not on the show now?
it means that we're streaming now to Rumble and to Twitter, which is now called X, and that YouTube will, if we stop sharing this, that YouTube will allow us to, they'll probably resurrect, but it's likely a copyright issue. It's probably not a violence or anything like that. There's nothing, we haven't shown any violence, but it's likely a copyright issue. Even though what we're adding perspective here, but YouTube is terrible about this. And yeah.
So what do you want to do? You want to show the ask ones? I hope that there's not a problem with that. They were on YouTube.
It's not a matter that it's on YouTube. It's a matter they think I'm stealing. They think I'm stealing this person's content. So they feel like this content belongs to Wokomo Humanity, and that I'm stealing Wokomo Humanity's content by restreaming this, even though it's considered, under the eyes of the law, it's considered fair use because we're adding commentary to it. It's not like we're just sitting here mutely letting it play and we'll keep pausing it. But if I keep doing this, if I keep showing it, I will get a strike. That's the one thing that YouTube has made very clear.
So then you're not going to show it then, I guess.
Right. It's not going to work. Right. So now I'm back. Apparently YouTube saw that I stopped playing it, so they turned it back on. And so now I need to just make a decision. What am I going to do?
Well, let me talk for a few minutes about some of this.
Okay.
All right. Much of what I'm going to say, I may have said at earlier times, but the bottom line of all of this is that for better or worse, the Arabs consider Israel to be Islamic property. And these people who came in fact, it's interesting because some of the ass clips, one of them said, yeah, well, before Palestine, there was Syria, which someone asked me last time, and I said that because that's true. It was Syria before. But we have to understand something. All right. When was Palestine established? That was one of the questions on the Ask video. By the way, I do urge.
I can show that video. I can show that.
I don't know. Maybe they won't like that either.
It's a different video. I don't think that's going to be a problem.
All right.
I can show that.
Well, let's show it in a minute. Let me talk about it for 5 minutes.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
All right. You have to understand, all of you, that the concept of Palestine and Arab Palestine is something that was really generated in the early 60s.
1960s.
Yeah, the 1960s. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. It's really a manipulation to get rid of Israel. Now, again, I've said this in other contexts before on here, but I want to repeat it because it's very important. It doesn't, the Palestinians or so-called Palestinians, they believe it. They believe that Palestine is theirs, Palestine is Muslim, and they believe that eventually we got to get rid of we'll get rid of the Israelis. And what people believe is what motivates them to behave a certain way. You have to recognize this. Now, a very interesting thing here. in the Quran, Muhammad, and I want to mention, where did Muhammad get his ideas from? Of course, a Muslim will tell you that Muhammad heard from the angel Jibril, which is Gabriel or Gabriel. He used to fall on the ground. Secular historians say he had epilepsy. But of course, that in Islam, when they say Muhammad, they always praise him even now. That's the name. You don't just say the name alone. Now, the Quran, we mentioned this before, but again, not in detail. How is the Quran codified? Men came and they recited what they heard, and that was put together. That's how it was done. So a lot of the things in the Quran sometimes even conflict with each other, and you have all sorts of very interesting things. Now, in the Quran, the verses, there's an opening chapter, a surah is a chapter. Opening chapter, it's called the opener, and that is basically a proclamation about God and that you're a believer, and it's very short. Then the surahs are arranged in opposite order of length. Well, we say, in other words, the longest one first. Now, Surah 5:32, a very interesting surah. And it's often quoted, but it's not quoted in its entirety. Now, I'm going to read the surah in English. And this is very interesting, because this is what they often quote. Their quote is, whoever kills a soul, all right, except for corruption of the land, it is as if he killed all mankind. And then they read the following, and whoever saves a soul, it is as if he saved all mankind. That's what they say. So, the Quran is very, very wonderful. That's it. But that's not the whole context. The whole context is this. Whoever kills a soul except for a soul, unless for a soul, except for corruption of the land, it's killed all mankind. That's the same. Now, listen to what's cut out. We decreed upon the children of Israel that whoever kills a soul, unless for soul or corruption, meaning mischief in the land, it's as if he killed all mankind. And whoever saves a soul, as if he saved all mankind. And our messengers had certainly come to them with clear proofs. Then many of them throughout the land were transgressors. And now, interesting enough, some of this, the part that's usually quoted by people who want to be very pro-Muslim, those parts of the Quran are taken out of the Gemara, the Jewish Talmud, Sanhedrin 36. They come right from there. So I have to understand. Now, Muhammad traveled across the desert, and he interacted with Jews and Christians on the borders of the desert and with Jews in Medina before he threw them out and killed them. So he picked up a lot of things, and a lot of the messages he brings down are very, very similar to what we find in Judaism and Christianity. Now, the next verse, listen to this. Indeed, the penalty for those who wage war against Allah and his messenger and strive upon the earth to cause corruption is not that they be killed or crucified, all right, or their hands and feet be cut from opposite sides, or that they be exiled from the land. It says, now, that for them is a disgrace in this world, or for them in the hereafter. Now, the bottom line is, I'm sorry, I misread this. The bottom line is that they should be crucified or their hands and feet cut off from opposite sides. And now, what is corruption in the land? That's the critical point on all of this. All right, so here is corruption in the land. That we have to go to the oral tradition of Islam. Ibn Kathir says, doing anything that is corruption is defined as doing something that is outlawed by Islamic law. And what is outlined by Islamic law? Leaving Islam. In other words, if someone is born a Muslim or converts and then he leaves, he becomes Christian or Jew or an atheist, so that's no good. Insulting Islam, making cartoons about Muhammad, making fun of Muhammad or Islam, no good. These are capital punishment offenses. Inciting apostasy, convincing people to leave Islam, capital offense. Propagating heresy, trying to push other religions on Muslims, similar, capital offense. Spreading disbelief, capital offense. Homosexuality, capital offense. Adultery, capital offense. What? Okay. Spreading immorality. All right. All of these are basically considered capital offenses. All right. So now I want to say one more thing. I actually copied down a whole thing on this about what's going on now. A very interesting thing. Again, this is reported by the Israelis, so one may want to question it. I just saw this literally an hour or so ago. There are Gazans in a place called Dar is a home or an area, but it's the name of the town. Dar al-Bala. It's in central Gaza. And today, supposedly they said this. And I say supposedly because we have no corroboration. I also say, though, that the Arabs, when they're afraid, they'll be very nice to you. Very, very nice to you without being pushed. All right. This is what it says. Okay. They've been in contact, some of them, with the Israeli military. Those who will do so are piling scorn on Hamas and encouraging the military to remove the terror group from power. They were talking to Arab-speaking officers of Unit 504. That's the intelligence unit of the Israeli army. All right, and because they were offering them rewards if they can get the leaders. Now, this is one Gazan. Just excuse me 1 second. One Gazan called the leaders dogs before vowing they would be cursed. Listen to what the people around me are saying. May Allah protect us from Hamas. This Gazan told in Israel, Allah will curse them. He will curse them and those that voted for them. Now, why? The answer is very simple. Because those people basically are people who are having, in their mind, a good time. Hamas destroyed us, pushed us 100 years into the past. May Allah bring disaster on them. Our people are their hostages. He said, tell your leaders, Hamas people are abroad outside of Palestine. And then he cursed them. I won't repeat the English. All right. He said, I'm telling you in the name of our nation, I'm sitting alone and I am messed up. Please use another word. Everything is destroyed. They're all abroad sitting around in hotels, blank them up, 6-letter in English of the word of the alphabet. Curse their fathers sitting around in hotel rooms. So now this is something that Israel was hoping would happen with the war, basically. But the bottom line of all of it is that they...
What was something Israel would hope would happen?
What?
What was something Israel was hoping would happen?
They were hoping that the people in Gaza would blame Hamas for the destruction. Because Hamas really caused the destruction because they motivated Israel.
They were hoping that people would recognize that Hamas caused it.
Right. Mm-hmm. That's what they were hoping for. Yes.
Okay.
Right. So that is, but the bottom line of this, and if you listen to the Ask videos, all of those, it also becomes apparent. I was listening to another one just beforehand. What do you teach your children? And basically they say that eventually we'll get rid of the Israelis. That this is
right.
our land and they took it over and they're oppressing us. If you listen to those Ask videos.
Okay. So on this, there's a few things I just want to cover. So someone was asking when you said that, Palestine was a convention that was created in 1960, people ask, well, it goes all the way back to Roman times when they were calling it Palestine.
That's correct.
So why do you say it goes back to 1960s?
Because the Arabs didn't consider themselves Palestinians.
What did they consider themselves?
Syrians. We mentioned that before. One of them even admitted it in one of those videos. Yeah. The concept of a Palestinian, Palestina, a Palestinian people, was generated, some say maybe as early as 48 after the expulsion, 49.
But the land was called Palestine.
The land was called Palestine, but the people there, first of all, 90% of them moved in from other places. There was a massive movement during the period after World War I. They were encouraged to move in because they wanted to be sure that the area would stay Arab, because they knew about the Balfour Declaration, which, for those who don't know, was November 4th, 1917, which the British declared the idea of a Jewish homeland being created in Palestine, and they use that term, yes, provided that nothing should be done to harm the indigenous people there. And that immediately led to more Arabs moving in, so that there would be a lot of Arabs there, and they could claim the whole place. And then, of course, there were the riots of 29 and the general riots of 36 to 39, and British white paper limiting Jewish immigration and so forth.
Mm-hmm. Wesley says the difference is means. If all means are okay, outcomes could be evil. Along with that, how means are defined will determine the outcome. Well, it certainly will determine how it's viewed. So
yeah.
Okay, this is what I want to do. I want to continue watching that. I mean, the whole thing when we talk about, I think that this video.
I don't want you to get a strike. I mean,
what I plan on doing is I plan on pulling us out of YouTube and going over to Rumble. That's what I plan on doing. So this way, I'm going to basically just, if I'm not streaming that, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to just there's a little bit from that Ask video that you directed me to that we're going to watch now, and then I'm going to shut down over here on YouTube, and we're going to go over to Rumble. I urge all of you who are on YouTube right now to switch over to Rumble, because I am going to be watching the rest of that movie Brides of Allah with my father on Rumble. After we watch a little bit of this video here that my father had me pull, which is basically people interviewers asking questions of Palestinians as to what their perspectives were on various issues.
Yeah, this is this film. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So this is.
When was Palestine established?
اوكي امتى تأسست فلسطين ومين أسسها؟
والله نروح كنت انا بتوقع تأسيس فلسطين ايام الكنعانيين
I think Palestine was founded in the days of the Canaanites.
كافتراضي يعني كشاب عمره 28 سنة أوعيت على رحمة الشهيد أبو عمار.
وعيت على رحمة الشهيد بس but me as a Palestinian youth, as a 28-year-old Palestinian youth, I became aware of Palestine during the time of Abu Ammar, Yasser Arafat. He was the one.
It's Arafat, yeah.
Loved
the 60s.
Arafat in the 60s, yeah.
In our hearts for Palestine. You can say he's our chief. He's our leader.
In the ancient times, who were the rulers then?
في الأيام القديمة جدا مين كان حاكم فلسطين؟
يعني قبل قديش مثلا؟
So before how long ago?
2,000 years ago.
قبل 2000
3,000 years ago. Canaanite times.
أيام الكنعانيين مين كان حاكم فلسطين؟
قبل الكنعانيين؟
لا وقت before or during؟
Before anything before 1948.
أي شيء قبل 48 مين كان حاكم فلسطين؟
قبل سنة 48؟
Somebody said Jordan.
Jordan, but before that, before.
قبل الأردن.
الانتداب البريطاني.
England. Before.
The British mandate أيوة.
For England. بده مثلا من ناحية الانتداب من ناحية إنه مثلا Turkish واحد عربي كيف مش فاهم عليه أنا.
I don't understand what you mean exactly. You mean like in terms of
the
mandates or?
No, way before. In Canaanite times, who were the rulers? Who were the Canaanite rulers of Palestine?
بأيام الكنعانيين، مين كانوا الحكام الكنعانيين إذا متذكرين؟ إذا بتعرفوا أسامي حدا أو شيء؟
لا والله ما أنا متذكر.
No, I don't really know the names. I don't remember.
Was there?
Nobody says the Jews. Nobody.
أسماء موجودة يعني بغض النظر في قلوبنا يعني هي أصلا.
In our hearts.
Is it Jerusalem? They know. They say.
الخريطة ومش الخريطة والصفارة كله يعني تعتبر المؤخر كله كلام على الورق.
But the map and so on and the borders يعني excuse me it's all just ink on
يعني
paper.
العاصمة أيام صلاح الدين أيام سيدنا عمر.
The capital since the times of Salah
أيام
ad-Din, since the caliphate. Umar, since the Crusaders, it's been Jerusalem.
Was there a flag back then or anything?
هل كان في علم وقتها؟ أحد علمك؟ لا. إمتى تأسست فلسطين ومين أسسها؟
أسست فلسطين ولا الثورة الفلسطينية؟
Who's Ali Bethlehem?
Ali from the city of Bethlehem.
Who is that?
No, his name is Ali, and he's nothing. He lives in Bethlehem. That's
That's this guy. This guy.
that's this guy.
Palestine or the Palestinian Revolution.
Well, first Palestine and then the revolution.
أول شيء فلسطين مين أسسها وإمتى وبعدين نحكي عن الثورة الفلسطينية.
فلسطين من زمان مؤسسة من على أيام الأنبياء.
Palestine was founded long ago, since the
على
time of the
أيام
prophets.
قدام الأنبياء حتى الكنعانيين.
Even before the prophets.
And was called Palestine?
It's been founded since the Canaanites.
Of course not.
Canaanites. Okay.
No.
Palestine?
نعم.
Yes.
نعم is
Okay.
yes.
What was the capital of the ancient Palestine?
إيش كان عاصمة فلسطين القديمة؟
عاصمة فلسطين القديمة هي اللي احنا نحكي عنها القدس.
The capital of ancient Palestine is what we call Jerusalem.
Okay. And who were the ancient rulers, the kings of Palestine?
مين كانوا حكام فلسطين القدماء؟ أو ملوك فلسطين القدماء؟
He's not going to say.
I don't know, to be honest.
Yeah, you see.
Was there a Palestinian currency?
هل كان في عملة فلسطينية؟
نعم كانت.
Yes, there was a Palestinian currency.
When? Does he know when?
تعرف إمتى كانت موجودة؟
أيام الانتداب البريطاني.
During the British mandate.
Mandate, yes. Well done.
And what was the flag?
إيش كان العلم طيب من زمان؟ كان في علم؟
علم فلسطين هو من يوم تأسس هذا هو علم فلسطين.
It's been the same flag ever since.
Does he know when it started?
بتعرف what started?
The flag.
بتعرف إمتى أسسوا أو بتعرف إمتى أوجدوا العلم؟
I mean,
العلم هذا.
This is what they think, most of them.
الثورة الفلسطينية.
We know it.
كان علمها
We
هي
had
علم فلسطين.
the Palestinian flag since the Palestinian Revolution.
Which was when?
إمتى كانت الثورة الفلسطينية؟
الثورة الفلسطينية تأسست في الخمسينات.
In the 50s. Okay.
When was Palestine founded? Created?
It's difficult. When?
Just guess. You don't have to know. When do you think Palestine was founded, created?
Created. Many years ago, thousands of years.
Okay. What was the capital of the ancient Palestine of years ago?
It was Jerusalem and still.
Okay. Who were the rulers, the kings of Palestine?
The king of Palestine.
Or ruler, or was there? I don't know.
I don't know.
Okay. What was there a Palestinian currency, like money, Palestinian money?
Yes.
When?
Janae. It's
What?
called Janae.
British
When was
means a
that?
pound. The Brits introduced it. Ganai is pound. Janai, Ganai.
You want a time, certain time? I don't know.
Like 100 years ago, 1,000 years ago?
No, I think 100 years. It was many countries, not Palestine. 4 countries, 4, 5. As
Which countries? Which countries?
Jordan, Lebanon, Syria. It was just one.
Janae
They
as
didn't
well?
all have it. Egypt had it too.
And was there a flag for Palestine in ancient times?
In ancient, I don't know.
What was the flag? If there was a flag, and he's saying no, there wasn't a flag. According to our studies, there was no flag. In the beginning or before, it was بلاد الشام or the Levant, and it was
Sham to Syria.
had a lot of civilizations like the Romans and so on.
This is really wild to me. This is really wild to me. What's so interesting to me is that anyone who who studied Jewish history at all can name King David, King Solomon, Saul.
I don't know that. I've never.
What I'm saying is, you would think that from the that there would be historic kings who would be memorable from the Palestinian side of things. I mean,
there weren't any Arab rulers here. This was not an independent Arab area ever.
Right. That's the point that my father. That's what the point that I'm looking for people to see when they're watching, how they're struggling to figure out they didn't have a flag, they didn't have anything. It was just nomads essentially, right? I mean,
Bedouin, yes, right, mostly. A few cities. I mean, yeah.
And the capital used to be a city called Yabus, which is Jerusalem today.
That's correct. The Yebusite kingdom was there. That was the capital of the Yebusite kingdom before David conquered it, and it became the Ir David.
Oh wow! So you see that they know
that is right.
Wow! Look at that. The point is, this is a guy who's knowledgeable, and he's like, yeah, there really wasn't anything. That the fact that he knows Yebus and can't come up with other stuff is what makes him more interesting to me, because he's not ignorant.
تعرف شيء عن الحكام أو عن العملة? Do you know anything about the currency?
العملة اللي هي كانت الشاقل.
الشاقل؟
وبعديها تم تداول
Shekel, he knew that.
Shekel or like
that was a Jewish money.
Shekel.
In the old days, there was shekalim, shekel, yes.
In English.
When was that?
امتى كان الشيكل؟
تقريبا 100 سنة.
Maybe like 100 years ago. وإيش حكيت كمان؟ الحكام كانوا؟
الحكام مش ذاكر، اللي ذاكر بس هي.
I don't remember, but what I do remember was that it was ruled by the Ottoman.
Okay, during the Ottoman times.
During the Ottoman times.
فلسطين هي كانت أرض كنعان.
This is the last one we're going to do, and I want to move on to like back to the brides of Allah.
The land of Canaan.
خلينا نقول قبل الاحتلال يعني فلسطين كان لها عملة جنيه فلسطيني.
Before the occupation, Palestine had a currency which is the
المفروض إنه كان
Palestinian pound.
الشيكل أصلاً عملة فلسطينية الكنعانية.
So before the occupation, it was the Palestinian pound. بعد الجنيه الإسرائيلي إيش حكيت؟
مش الجنيه الإسرائيلي.
Notice the Brits didn't occupy, the Israelis occupied.
أيام كنعانيين.
الشيكل كانت عملة الإسرائيلية.
الشيكل هي عملة.
There was a Jordanian pound too.
I think the shekel used to be the currency of the Canaanites. The shekel used to be the currency of the Canaanites.
No, it was Jewish currency, not the king.
The king. It just happened. It just happened to have like a menorah on it.
I want to tell you, I remember some 60 years ago in graduate school. I remember that the Arabs there were telling me, well, we're descended from the Canaanites, which of course in the Bible
it makes no sense. Right? They were all destroyed. They were all destroyed,
and they were destroyed. Yes.
Yeah. None of them come from Canaanites. Yeah, but all right. Let me get back to I'm gonna wrap up over here on YouTube, because YouTube, as someone pointed out here in a chat before, so yeah, that's what they said. So we're gonna move on from that. Antonio says, "Yo, Joe, shop coming soon. Sent you an email. Need a few more items before it's active." All right, I'll check out that email. I responded to one from you this morning, but I'll get back to you with the items that you have there. Definitely, if any of you have recommendations about what you want to see me bring in merch, drop a comment down below, because that way I'll remember it. So drop a comment on YouTube, on Rumble, what you would like to see from me in the form of merch. I assume I'm definitely going to be doing this. Maybe tracksuits. I don't know. We'll see. They won't be mandatory. Tracksuits are not going to be mandatory. That's for sure. And it's not definitely not mandatory. It's like for comfortability while you're sitting around watching the show. You have a tracksuit. So anyway, I'm going to wrap up over here on YouTube. You can go get bent, and I'm gonna basically close down YouTube right now. We're gonna go Rumble only. The link is in the description down below. I put it up in the chat. They're not letting me pin it in the chat. Apparently not. I can't pin a Rumble link in the chat any longer because YouTube feels so insecure. So yeah, I'm gonna be heading over to Rumble. I'm picking up the show over there where we're going to be watching Brides of Allah Part 2. Scarier. Brides of Allah. It does sound like a horror movie. But yeah, so we're going to be watching Brides of Allah. Me and my dad. I'll get the popcorn. He'll bring the commentary. Like Siskel and Ebert, we'll tell you if we give it 2 thumbs up, 2 thumbs down. We'll let you know what we think of it. But that's going to be over on Rumble. So I urge those of you who are on YouTube, I'm going to put the link one more time over here in the chat. It is in the description down below. I'm going to put it one more time here in the chat, which it's there now. It's in the description. It is in the description. If you refresh, you'll see it in the description. It wasn't in the description originally, but it's there now. I updated the description to incorporate it there. So anyone who refreshes will see it there in the description. Anyhow, I don't know why people struggle to find me on Rumble either. While you're there on Rumble, if you can like and subscribe so we can get over 10,000, that would be a very cool little back at YouTube that I can cross that 2,000 threshold. That would be really kind of awesome. So if you're over on Rumble, you can hit a thumbs up and a subscribe. That would be massive cool of you. I'm wrapping up over here on YouTube. Still stick with me over on Rumble, but I'm closing down YouTube now. So those of you who are on YouTube, find the link. Find the link. It's in the description below or in chat. And with that, YouTube.